Welcome to It's Not You, It's Grieve, a safe space to have candid conversations surrounding the many faces of grief. How do you handle the process while moving forward and ultimately getting back to living in the moment? Come on this journey as we navigate grief through the art of storytelling. And now for your host, Ahira Smith.
Good evening, everyone. We got echoes. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Ahira Smith here, the grief mending coach, bringing you greetings from the campus of the Fayetteville State University. Yes, your girl is here. I'm kicking it with the Broncos, everybody, of North Carolina. And I just finished doing a presentation with a wonderful group of students that's part of the Matriculation Institute, talking about what we all experience one way or another, grief and loss. And so I'm doing this impromptu live video conversation with two phenomenal students of Fayetteville State University who were courageous enough to join me on the stage right now live. So this is being seen on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And I am going to share this stage with them to just kind of have them talk to me a little bit about their own journey of grief and loss and what has been for them like as a student here at Fayetteville State University, and just in general. I also want to get some feedback from them as far as how the presentation went with them, how did it resonate with them, and just to see how we can, all go on it together in healing with one another. So first up, I'm going to bring Miss Liz Washington. Hey, Miss Liz, come on stage.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, my dear, doing good. And next up, I'm bringing up is Mr. Jaden Batiste.
How you doing?
They're so shy, but they were talking a few minutes ago. Go figure. But nevertheless, though, I want to show you the students, just a few students of Fayetteville State University, and I would love it for them to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about who they are, and we'll just get the conversation going. It's only going to be 30 minutes. So don't be too excited. I'm not going to be long with it, I promise. But first up, Liz, say hello to my audience and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hello guys. I'm Liz Washington. I'm a senior major in sport and fitness management. I will graduate in fall of 2025. My goal is to be director of student athlete development. So a little background on me: I grew up with two brothers, my mom and my grandma. Dad lives states away. And so just a little background, we'll get more into that later.
Okay. And definitely next up is Mr. Jaden Batiste. If you'd be kind enough to tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, how you doing? My name is Jaden Batiste. I am a junior business administration major on the campus of Fayetteville State University. I am the middle vice president of the Matriculation Institute, and I also hold the position of Mr. NAACP. A little bit about myself: I grew up in Havelock, North Carolina, military family. My people are originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm French Creole. Growing up, I'm the oldest. I had a little brother come into the family when I was 10. So I have a little brother. He is 10 years old now. Growing up, it was my mother, my grandparents, and my uncles. We're very close together, and family spread out in Georgia, New Orleans, things like that. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, well, thank you both guys for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started. We just finished a conversation regarding grief and loss and how to handle it and process it. So give me some feedback. It's live, so you can't hide behind the little apps that I had shown earlier. So Liz, tell me, how did it resonate with you?
So a little backstory: I lost my mom about 5 years ago coming up. So lately it's been hitting me hard. I honestly don't know why, and I think that's the thing about grief. You never know when you're grieving, I feel like, is a thing. So we're just talking about different stages of grief And also even the different types, because we talked about masking grief, and I felt like that was at one point. Like sometimes I just had to so I could be there for everyone else and not worry about my problems and whatnot.
Okay. And Jada, what about yourself? How did the program conversation resonate with you?
I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was a great talk. Personally, for me, I lost my mother November 5th, 2022, like 3 months into my freshman year. And growing up, my mother was my best friend, loved her to death. And I thought it was great on both levels of figuring out what grief is and how to get past it, and also in the culture of being African American, especially a man, it's not necessarily talked about when it comes to depression. And the common thing is we just gotta keep moving and get past it, and we'll worry about that later. And that's not really right, because eventually you can only hold that weight for so long, and then it'll just bottle up and explode, and then you're in jail, or you're not doing well, and the generational trauma continues. So seeing the men, especially most of them that I mentor, and seeing them in here, I definitely loved it. And it was great just because of what we learned, the different stages of grief and different tips. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I just want to offer my sincere condolences to both of you for losing your mothers. Again, I lost my mom. I told you my story as well. So my condolences to both of you. It's not easy. It doesn't matter how long your mother has been in your life, or anybody you love so much is no longer in your life. It still hurts. So I definitely want to make sure I honor that, because they're still with us. All of our mothers are still with us, and they're guiding us. As our ancestors or our spirit guide. They're still with us, even though not physically. So one of the things that I really want to make sure it's understood is that there needs to be a safe space when it comes to dealing with grief and loss. Do you all feel that there is such spaces like that for students today?
Yes and no. I feel like some people aren't looking for it. So I feel like it's there, but you do have to take the time to find it. So that's my piece on that.
When it comes to my opinion, specifically, yes, we do have, the Spalding Center, well, on campus specifically, like Fayetteville State, we have the Spalding Center, things like that. But it basically comes down to whether you talk about it or not. So that safe space depends on you. When my mom passed, I was a freshman, and it was definitely harder, way harder for me, because I was away from home. And the last conversation I had with my mom, we was on the phone, and we spoke, and she was stressed about something. It was something, arguing with a family member, whatever. And I don't want to hear about it just because I'm in college, and I didn't really want to hear about it. And she was like, okay, well, I'll call you later. I'm like, oh, talk to you later, love you, Mom, bye. And someone told me that, and I text her, Mom, I love you. And then the next morning, I get a call from my grandparents, so she passed her sleep that night. And it was hard for me because I come from a very, Havelock line is very small, like 4 or 5 stoplights. It's a military town. So coming into HBCU, it was hard to just make friends, or just, I was very closed off. Like, I have social anxiety, so I don't really like talk to people, or I didn't really make friends. So really it was just my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, go talking to her, go to class, come back to the room. So when I got news that she passed, I didn't really have anybody to speak to. I didn't really, I have my grandparents, but they just lost a daughter. My grandma just lost her best friend. I didn't really have friends, so it was definitely hard. When it comes to a safe space, I feel like there is always a safe space, but it just depends on you when you're going to open to talk about it. Everybody's situation is different. Thankfully, I had my uncle, my godfather, and we talked, and anytime I needed to talk to him, we picked up the phone, spoke about it, checked up on me. But yeah, I feel like there are definitely safe spaces, but it just depends on, are you ready to talk about it? What's your situation? But yeah.
Okay. So just kind of switching gears a little bit. Now, we know that grief, a lot of times when people think of grief, they automatically think about, death, somebody passed away. What other types of life experiences have you encountered since coming to Fayetteville State University that has caused grief or loss for you, and how do you manage through it?
So I'll go. Well, I mean, this has nothing to do with it too. So I lost my stepmom while I've been in school as well. And so with having my stepmom around, my dad spoke to me more. But now that my stepmom is gone, I don't hear from my dad. So like I obviously didn't, like I said earlier, didn't grow up with him being in the household. But you know, everybody wants to be daddy's girl, and so I didn't think that my mom was my best friend. So not having my dad definitely still bothers me. I have a lot of a couple of mentors that are male, so having them around, being able to talk to them, have them talk to me about dad's stuff, or just having that male figure in my life has definitely helped.
When it comes to me, thankfully, I haven't really had anything to grieve for while I'm in college other than my mother. But I would say the biggest thing would be my father and I's relationship. Like I said, my family, my mother had me at 15. My granddad, 30-year vet, E9 in the Marine Corps. And when my mother was pregnant with me, they were stationed in Louisiana. And then my dad, he was 16. She was 15, he was 16. Right when she got pregnant, we got shipped off to Havelock. And I was born and raised ever since. So growing up, I had my father in my life. I had my grandfather and my uncles, great men, love them to death. I had father figures, but it always bothered me growing up not having a father, and I was just around that one. And it wasn't until we college over the years, it wasn't until I got to college that like we really started speaking and like talking, because really it's just uncomfortable. And then when my mom passed, I found out that his mom passed when he was 16. I was 18 when she passed, and my mom passed. He was 16, I was 18. So we kind of bonded through that. But there were certain situations with him and my mother that I found out when they were young that it's hard to talk to him or in that nature. So I won't say grieving, but it's been hard sometimes just maneuvering through, because I accomplish a lot. Every time I accomplish, someone wants to talk to me. And I learned though that being 20 years old, I learned to forgive him. I wouldn't necessarily forgive him because I just put myself in his shoes. Okay, you're 16 years old, you just had a child, then they moved states away in North Carolina. He did his best to try and contact me and things like that. It's just, I let it go and I peace with it. If we speak. I get my fulfillment and joy in what I do in the matriculation. So that's what helps me.
Okay, so one of the things that is very much a core component into how I talk about grief is to make sure that people understand the importance of giving themselves permission to grieve. Do you feel that you have done that thus far?
Yes, I would say yes. Like when I have to cry, I let it out. I try to not hold it in. Especially, I just my business. I still am like, I guess we think that grief is supposed to be a limited time, but you never know when it's going to happen. So I've been giving myself grace in that aspect, and if I need to cry, I cry. Like, I gotta get it out somehow. I try to not let it build up.
Yes, I like that. Piggyback on what Liz said. Yes, I give myself permission to grieve. My mom passed November 5th, and I came into school August. So that's August, September, October, November. Immediately went home, and I came back January when we came back off break. Still did my work. Came back, finished with a 4.0 both semesters. Sometimes it's you get into situations where now that I was 18, I'm 20 now, so you never get past it. But if I feel like crying, I'll cry. I was always the type where it just kept moving. Like, yes, we can grieve now, but I got to do this schoolwork real quick. But I sure give myself time to grieve, and I just have the mindset that she's with me everywhere. And yes.
So, how do you honor your grief? What are some things that you have done to honor the grief that you are feeling?
I let it mold me. For example, everything came full circle. Like when my mother passed, she told me to do big things. I'll never forget. I turned 18 that day. I moved into college, and I'm the first generation, so I'm the first one to make it this far. She told me to do big things, Jaden, and then she was so happy that I got into HBCU. Like she was so happy her son was going to college, all that. And before there was a Jaden before she passed, and Jaden after. Before she passed, I was always smart. I always had a 4.0, but I wasn't involved in organizations. I didn't really like to do anything. I didn't. I was kind of closed off. I was just myself. After she passed, I learned lessons of, because she was only 34, so you always got to live life to the fullest. And then two, you have to be of service to people because they never know what they're going through. Like when my mother passed, nobody was really there for me. Nobody really checked up on me. So I became that person who does that. And the organization I'm part of, the matriculation, will get men and freshmen, and we mold them and help them to give them skills that last 4 years. So that, a couple months after she passed, I recruited into it. And that was a full circle moment because I was in your position, and I was a freshman, and I made it out, so I could help you. I won Man of the Year, I won Brother of the Award, and now as no vice president, I honor the grief of my mother and memory just by being of service. Like even being Mr. NAACP, being a part of multiple volunteer activities. My biggest drive was my mother passed, and now it's helping and being of service, helping them anytime they need something there. And that's what I really believe in, brotherhood and friendship. So I honor her memory just by being of service, helping others, and just being a ride or die person.
So yes, I actually literally said everything right. Like I was sitting here thinking about what to say. But yes, I totally agree with what he said as well. Just honoring. So anytime my mom's birthdays come up, I do something for her birthday. And my mom was also the only girl to my grandma. So me and my grandma talk about it a lot. I literally look just like my mom. So when I look in the mirror, as I'm getting older, I see her. And so just me deciding to go back to school, because when she passed, I had just finished community college. And so I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do. So I took a break. And then I finally was like, okay, it's time to do something, go back to school. And just honor her in everything I do, even though it's hard, because when something good happens, I want to pick up the phone and call her. But I do have my grandma. I have close friends and stuff that I know that are excited for me and proud of me. So just honestly, I literally do a birthday post for her every year. Like I'm always posting my mom. So I'm always going to honor her and thank her for everything and making me who I am today.
Okay, so the final thing that I try to encourage people to do, besides giving themselves permission to grieve and honoring their grief, is to still find that there's still greatness in grief through the lessons of it all. I'm wondering, what type of lessons have you learned from your journey involving grief, particularly with that of the loss of your mom, or anything that really strongly resonates with you?
I learned a lot of lessons. First off, I learned how strong I was, or strong I am. Just looking back on 18-year-old me and seeing how new I was to college life and being on my own in a specific sense. And then boom, mom passed away, got to go back home. I rose up through it. I still look at my accomplishments and my resume, and I still can't believe I did the things that I did. I learned that not everything is as it seems. A lot of people may look at me and think, oh, he's Mr. Perfect, or oh, he never had a struggle, or oh, this, and this. People don't even know half the stuff I had to do to get in the shoes that I am in. I learned that life is not promised, and I just learned to be a good person, because life can be gone just like that. And the biggest thing when you pass is how were you remembered? How did you treat other people? And I just learned that you have to be a good person and be of service and help others because you never know when your time is coming. And yeah.
That was good, Jaden. So yes, the biggest lesson, and I tell myself too, everything, my quote literally was everything happens for a reason. I may not understand it now. And then talking to people who knew my mom, like he said, when you pass, people are wondering how you're remembered. And everyone reminds me of like how great of a person she was. And so also me looking like her, I'm like, okay, I have to do everything that I'm supposed to do and such. And so yeah, lessons, it's definitely been many. And I still feel like there's so many that I'm going through too. And like I'm a first gen as well. I didn't mention that earlier. So when I graduate next December, like I know I'm going to ball because my mom would be so proud. But I know, like everyone says, she's still there with me. She's not missing it. She's gonna be watching.
Gotcha. So I have just two more questions. What has your spiritual practice been regarding your journey? Has it made you closer in your walk of faith? Was there a time when you were pulled away from it because of everything that was happening, so fresh and so raw, especially at a young age? What has been your relationship like with that of those that you believe in?
So it's crazy you asked that because I was struggling with this yesterday. I grew up religious, but my question is still why. Sorry guys. I was literally just having this conversation yesterday with my grandma. So I was telling her, like, I want to get closer. It's hard because I'm still stuck on the why, but I know that I don't need to be focused on the why, and I'm human. So we are going to think about the why, but just know that, like I said earlier, everything happens for a reason. She's still here. But that is something that I'm working on, is definitely getting closer. Of course, I know he's still here with me and will always be here for me, but I do want to get closer and get more into that so I can like shy away from the why and not think about that as much.
When it comes to my faith, it was actually funny because right when I came to college, I just started reading the Bible more and getting into walking with God and things of that nature. Because my mom always told me, get to know God, you got to get to know Jesus. And when she passed, I never lost faith. I never shied away. It definitely made the connection stronger because that's what pulled me out of that situation. Yeah, I lost, but I gained a lot of things. Everything happens for a reason, like Liz said. It's bittersweet because yes, I didn't want to lose my mother, but if I never lost her, I may not even be in the position I am now. And when it comes to my faith, it definitely became stronger. And I pray every day, and I thank God for the things I have. And overall, what really did it was I know the type of person my mom was. Like when Liz was talking about when her mom passed and people were saying the type of person her mother was, I know where my mom is. And she was the most loving, kind person I ever met in my life. So there's a sense of peace that I know where she's at. And yes, my faith for sure got stronger.
Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I know that this is not an easy topic, and I know that it is still raw, and you're going to have those days when it's going to be heavier than others. So I just commend you all for your courage for just coming onto my podcast and sharing your stories and really your testimonials regarding where you started, where you're going through, and where you're looking towards. And so one last question for both of you is, if there was a piece of advice that you could share with your fellow students regarding the journey of grief and loss, what would it be? And where is it that they can go to seek assistance?
So I would say I was journaling for a little bit. So I feel like journaling, especially if you like to write or just get those feelings out. Sometimes the teardrops just hitting the paper is okay. And then just honestly, God is who you need to look to. Like that is the person that's going to get you through it. There's days that I'm like, what, like, so I would definitely say do that. Yes, that's like, and then on campus, we do have, on our campus, we do have counseling services here. I would also say if you need to cry, cry, let it out. I cry very often now. And that's okay because we got to get it out because if it builds up, it's not good. So just let it out when it needs to.
Yes. If I had to give a piece of advice, I would say nothing lasts forever, and that's for good and bad. If I go back November 5th, 2022, when she passed, and told myself where I'd be today, I would not believe it. I would not believe it. Like the things I've done, nothing lasts forever. The feeling, the pain will never leave. Yes, you may get over it. I mean, I'm still not over it. Yes, I made my peace with it and I keep moving every day, but that's your parents, that's your family, friend, grief, whoever you grieve for, is going to stay with you, but nothing will last forever. You're going to, in the future, you're going to be fine. Everything's okay. When it comes to what can you do, the biggest thing I would say is talk to somebody. They don't like, if you go to therapy, but say if you can't go to therapy, everybody's situation is different. Find somebody, father, uncle, friend, and that's the best thing too. Whenever you go through situations like that, you'll see who's really there for you. You'll see who the real riders in your life are, and you'll learn that, okay, I can talk to this person or I can't talk to this person. So that's the biggest thing I'd say. Nothing lasts forever. You're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. You're in the future, you're going to look back at that situation and say, if I can make it, I can make it through anything. Or I thank whoever that I got through this. And just talk to somebody. You have to talk to somebody because especially as men, when we feel like we can't talk to anybody, you hold that weight. You can only stuff a bag for so long and put it over your shoulder before you fall back. You have to talk to somebody, anybody, doesn't matter who it is, friend, cousin, sister, girlfriend, aunt, boyfriend. You just have to speak to somebody, and that's the first step.
Jaden and Liz, thank you so much. Again, I'm honored to sit here with you guys, sharing this space with you. And again, my condolences to both of you on your losses. But I also want to continue to encourage you guys to just keep going. I know we are all on this journey called life, and we're going to still come up with some difficult times. But I do feel and believe that, as Liz said, everything happens for a reason. There was a reason why you two were specifically chosen to talk with me. Because again, I did not know that both of you had lost your mothers. Nobody told me beforehand. So the fact that we're all sitting at this table, who we are with what we've gone through, it resonates with me very deeply. And so I look forward to our continuing conversations in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to just learning more about you and just being able to continue to provide a space along with strategies and tools to help you guys on your journey. So thank you so much for honoring yourselves and your loved ones and your journey to being well. It's really important, especially for our youth and especially as for our young Black men. We need these conversations on a consistent basis. So I thank you both very, very much. And for everybody who's listening, thank you so much for joining us for this impromptu podcast of It's Not You, It's Grief. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. If there was any technical difficulties in the beginning, we apologize, but you know what? We still made it work. So with that being said, I hope you all have a beautiful, glorious day wherever you are. And we look forward to seeing you on the other side, being well and engaging and intentional. And you know what? It's going to be all right. So thank you so much again, everybody. Have a great Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening, being intentional, and sharing this moment with us. We at It's Not You, It's Grieve deeply understand the many facets of grieving, and we want to make sure we can be here for you. Again, thank you for listening, and tune in again wherever you subscribe to podcasts. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be well.